Greetings and salutations. I am coming to you tonight with just a story. There might be some knowledge in it, but really it's just a story of an event that happened to me and my husband about 5 years ago. We were living in Delaware. Well, I thought you were listening to it. Okay. We were living in Delaware, and we moved to this little, adorable, historic village town called Camden in Delaware. It's like right outside of Dover. It's a charming looking little town with like Civil War houses and Victorians, and it's very small, very tiny little town. But we moved there and we rented an apartment. It was a garage apartment. It was a little apartment above a garage, a little 2-bedroom, small little apartment, but it had a beautiful like balcony, second level balcony, like a huge balcony. And before we moved in there, we met with the landlady, of course, and she had disclosed to us that the property was haunted, which didn't bother us at all because we never actually lived anywhere that wasn't haunted. We were used to it. And moving into a historic place like that, you would kind of expect it. So it didn't bother us at all. But she disclosed that it was haunted, and that she had actually had it blessed, like exorcised and blessed by a priest, like twice before we moved in there. So, and, you know, again, we didn't think nothing of it, and we moved in on the eve of Thanksgiving. And the next morning I got up, we cooked Thanksgiving dinner, everything was fine, went to bed, and the activity started right away. The first morning after Thanksgiving, when we woke up the next day, I woke up and my freezer door was left hanging wide open. Okay, hanging wide open. And I knew, like, neither one of us did that. But I didn't really, you know, whatever, it's some activity going on. I didn't pay any attention to it. The next morning, we got up and the freezer door was hanging open again. This time I was a little more, you know, oh, this is kind of annoying, you know. But again, didn't really faze us. The next morning we got up and the freezer door was hanging open again. And I finally was like, this has got to stop, because my food was like going bad. From it, you know, hanging open all night, my food wasn't frozen anymore. So I actually just yelled at whatever entity or spirit was there, and I was just like, look, we're new here, I know, and we know you're here. We got your message, we know you're here. Just quit it with the freezer, okay? You're making my food go bad. Just stop. Don't do that. And that never happened again. Other activities went on. We know there was a little girl that lived in the apartment. I actually collect like antique toys, and I keep them in like my sewing spare room, like my sewing room, and it's all like antique toys, and the little girl like loved my sewing room. She was always in there playing with the toys, and we could hear her playing with the toys in there, and we could, like, I always kept the door shut because I don't want my animals going in there and getting like hair on my fabric and stuff. So I always kept the door shut, but we could always hear the little girl like on the inside of the door, like scratching at the door and playing with the door handle and stuff. And then other things happened, like We had another spirit there that was a Native American, actually, and I'll get into why he was there. But I actually dreamt of the Native American, and he came in our bedroom, and he was standing by the bed, and he was like angry. He was very angry. I don't know why he was angry, but he was angry. And he actually like kicked the bed. Like he kicked the bed, and the bed actually like jumped up, like the corner of the bed, like somebody kicked it really hard. Like the bed jumped up off the floor and hit the ground again. So that happened, and then just, you know, little things, stuff getting taken, and one day my husband was down below the apartment in the garage part, because that's where the laundry machine was. It was down in the garage part. So he went down there, and I don't even remember why he went down there, but he went down there for something, and he had a book thrown at him. And there was like a stack of books in there that weren't ours. It was like the landlady's that she was storing in there. And there was a book thrown at him, and it like flew past him and like hit the wall. And then he heard like a voice come up behind him right in his ear and just went, "You!" It scared the crap out of him. And he come running back upstairs and told me about that. And then I had a voice as well, but mine wasn't as clear. It was a very old garage apartment. It's very old in this antique, like, little town. And so in the wintertime, it wasn't insulated because it was a garage apartment. So it got really cold in there in the winter. So in the winter, I was like, you know how you seal your windows for the winter? You get the plastic, you know, stuff, and you put it on your windows, and you like do it with the hair dryer, and it seals it tight, you know. So I was doing that. I was like winterizing the house, and I was in the living room, and I had put the plastic up, and I was with the hair dryer, and I was drying it, and ooh, somebody come right up behind me on this side and right in my ear, and just was like just like in my ear, and I was like, woo, like it just sent chills, you know, down me. Weird stuff like that would happen and everything. But we were there, how long were we there, baby? 3 years? We were going on our 3rd year? Yeah. We were going on our 3rd year. And, it was November. No, that was after that. That was the year previous. Okay. So we were going on our 3rd year, and it was summertime, okay? And the landlady, now she lived in the Victorian house. It was like right in front of our apartment. Like, her house was on the main road, and then you took like a little alley like back behind her house, and it looped around, and like back there was the garage apartment. So we seen her a lot, and she had come now, and we seen her all summer. Like I said, she was like right there, and you know, we became like kind of pretty good friends with her. You know, my husband would do handyman work for her. He like painted her picket fence around her house, and cleaned up some junk for her. Like he would like do stuff. He like fixed her windows, and you know, I would do stuff for her as well. And we really fixed up the property, because when we got in there, like the property was like really overgrown with like weeds, and it was like nasty. And we cleared it all out and made it nice, you know, and like put a little garden in down below the patio, and just made the property really nice and took care of it, because that's the kind of people we are. And did handyman stuff, you know, for her and stuff like that. So, you know, everything was fine for like 3 years despite the activity. And she relayed a story to us about her husband that had died like 2 years previous. And her husband was actually an archaeologist, and he was studying the Delaware Indians, Native Americans, and he was actually going around and like digging up artifacts and everything. And that garage below our apartment was like his work area. Like he kept all the artifacts, and the bones and like everything he was digging up and studying was like kept in that garage, which is why the Native American was there and was very angry. Okay, and I mean, other things happened. I seen a spirit like walk right through our wall one night from the outside, like where the deck was, and it just came right through the wall. It kind of stood at the end of the bed, and then it turned around and it went like right back out. This, all kinds of stuff was happening, but like I said, it didn't faze us. We're used to it, okay? Normal people, that would probably freak them out. But it didn't faze us at all. And, we were going on like our 3rd year there. It was midsummer, and we were sitting outside, and the landlady came back, and she asked us if we had been experiencing any activity. And we told her, yeah, and, I told her some of the things that had happened and were goings on. But I was very adamant on telling her that it didn't bother us at all. We didn't care. We weren't going to move. It didn't bother us. But yet she 100% utterly insisted that she have her priest come out and, like, bless the house again, or, like, exorcise it, or whatever she wanted to have done. And since it was her property, we really didn't have a choice. I mean, we tried to talk her out of it because it didn't bother us, But she, like, really insisted that the guy come out and, like, bless everything. So we were like, okay, we can't stop her. We don't own the place. It's her property. If she wants it done, she's going to do it. So it was midsummer, and we were out on the patio. We had like a nice lounge set out there with like an umbrella, and we'd sit out there and grill and everything. And we were sitting out there enjoying some iced tea on a nice midsummer day, ice cold iced tea in a pitcher and everything. And here comes the preacher. So he comes up and he shakes my hand and introduces himself, and he goes over, shakes my husband's hand, introduces himself, and we just let him go. Let him go around his business and do whatever he wanted to do. So he did his thing, and he, like, left. And about 6 days later, we had an eviction note on our door. And I was like, wow, what the heck is going on? So, of course, I went right up to the landlady's house, and I'm like, what is this about? Why are we being evicted? And she told me that the priest, when he'd come to bless the house and he'd shaken my husband's hand, that my husband's hand was ice cold, like a demon, like death. Like, his handshake was as cold as death in the middle of summer, and he said my husband was a demon because his hand was ice cold in the middle of summer. But I guess he failed to realize that we were sitting there drinking glasses of iced tea, like holding glasses and drinking that. Yeah, his hand was probably cold. He was holding that glass. And I explained that to her, I was like, God, we were drinking tea. His hand's going to be cold. But she absolutely was not having it because the preacher had pretty much brainwashed her. He told her that my husband was a demon and that the energies and the spirits haunting the house were never going to leave because he was a demon and they were there because of him. Even though she knows damn well that there was tons of activity there before we ever moved in. She disclosed it to us before we moved in. So I don't even understand her logic. She was also kind of a drunk. But the preacher brainwashed her and told her, the spirits were never going to leave because my husband was a demon. And that's why the spirits were there, because he was a demon. And the priest actually, like, told his whole congregation in this little town. So, like, there was, like, one little church in this little historic town. And, like, everybody went there, except us, pretty much. And, he told, like, the whole congregation that my husband was a demon. So, we had, like, a month. We had 30 days to move out. And, we were getting like little notes stuck to our vehicles, like hate letters and stuff. Like we were basically ran out of town because my husband was a demon because his hand was cold from holding iced tea when he shook a priest's hand. And it come to find out later that he had really like brainwashed the landlady. Like she was leaving him and his church like the entire property like when she dies or something. Like he talked her into signing everything over to him. It's just a crazy story, guys. A crazy story about how gullible people are when it comes to like spiritual things and religious things, and how easily people can be brainwashed into believing shit. Now, I will admit, there has been a few times where I thought my husband was a demon. Right, honey? Yeah, I thought he's been a demon quite a few times, but I don't know. It's just a crazy story, guys. We got tons of them. We got tons of crazy stories, but I thought everyone would really enjoy that. So yeah, everyone be aware and be on notice that my husband is a demon. We got the demons up in the house. Okay, guys. Yeah, I don't know what kind of lesson this is. It's just a funny, weird story, and it's 100% true. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with everybody because it's quite comical, and there is a little bit of a lesson there if you read between the lines. So, maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and share.